Senate queries Buhari's social intervention scheme. Presidency condemned critics of arm purchase fund. Melaye approaches Supreme Court over recall process. Details of these and other stories in a moment. Welcome to the AM News at this time on television Nigerian. I am Anthony Momodu. The Senate Committee on Appropriation is seeking an update on the implementation of the social intervention program introduced by President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, which stipulates the payment of 5,000 naira stipend to indigent Nigerians. The committee made this demand on Thursday at the budget defense hearing on the National Social Investment Program. TVN's correspondent recompletes this story.
The Nigerian Senate has demanded for the submission of a list of beneficiaries of the 5,000 naira social intervention scheme, an initiative which is one of the campaign promises of President Muhammadu Buhari. The Senate Committee on Appropriation made its demand on Thursday at a budget defense hearing attended by the Special Advisor to the President on National Social Investment Program, BUHARI'S. Chairman of the committee, Senator Danjuma Goje, expressed disappointment that Nigerians are yet to feel the impact of the social intervention program of the Buhari-led government, despite the sum of 500 billion naira appropriated for the scheme in the 2016 and 2017 budgets.
We have asked you to give us detailed report on as to the beneficiaries of your program. Not only the 5 naira, 85, all other beneficiaries. 30,000. On the basis of your submission, we will see whether we will approve your 500 billion naira, or we will reduce this time around. We have not reduced for the first time. We have not reduced 2016 budget. We gave, Mr. President, we gave you 500 billion. Whether they release or they don't release, that's not our job is not release. Our job is to give. We appropriated 500 billion naira for you, half a trillion. 2017, we appropriated 500 billion naira. 2018 will appropriate on the basis of your performance.
Senator Goje laments that the social intervention program seems to be performing at cross purposes with the intention of the president, as they are doing very poorly in the area of publicity.
And we call you because Mr. President, while campaigning, he was the one who first announced this program that is going to pay 5,000 naira per month stipend, plus other things to the poor. And I know Mr. President is a politician. He didn't do it just because he wants God to hear that so that he will go to heaven. He did it in order to get votes, so that Nigerians will appreciate him as somebody who cares for the poor. The Ministry of Budget has been submitting 500 billion naira proposal. The National Assembly has been approving 500 billion naira without reduction of one kobo. Unfortunately for Mr. President, the program does not get the necessary publicity and attention that it deserves.
On their part, a cross-section of members of the Committee on Appropriation questions the criteria for selecting beneficiaries of the social intervention program, as only 20 states have so far benefited.
You see, in this list, there is no Yobe State, and I'm aware that we don't even have a coordinator in Yobe State. Meanwhile, you have spent this 175 billion naira in 2 years. My state has been completely out of this. Now, he asked one simple question, saying, look, if you read the heading of this report, you are saying summary of beneficiaries enrolled and paid in each state.
What is the justice? What is the justification in leaving some states out and spending money on others? Because if you have a program that you want to carry out, you should ensure that all the states have complied before you start disbursement. Because yes, don't say, madam, that is the truth. We are here to represent our different constituencies and states, and we would like to see that nobody is shortchanged.
You remember, to avoid this type of wrangling, was it last year when you met us downstairs here? We suggested that for this to be, so that every state will feel it, you can, this power program, nominate whether 50-50 person per senator or be 40 per House of Rep members, then which you said they were all agreed on it, and that they should send the names, which we feed that time and submitted, including the supervisor and all the rest. So that this thing should have, if you have done that, all these talking should have arisen.
Responding, the special advisor to the president on National Social Investment Program explained the criteria for selecting beneficiaries of the scheme.
When we work with NOA, we work with the communities to help us select who are the poor people. We put them on a register. That register so far is almost 650,000 households, not people. Now, it is only from those households that, because we have their demographics, we visit their homes, we ask them, what assets do you have? What children do you have? How many children? How many have gone to school? What are your skills? We put them on a device. Even the governors don't know. They are complaining that they don't know who has been selected.
Money for this project.
Yes, so that is it.
The 5,000 Naira Social Intervention Scheme is a key part of Muhammadu Buhari's campaign promises. Charles Ibe, TVN News, Abuja.
Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina says those criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari's approval of $1 billion for security funding are only playing politics with the lives of Nigerians. In an interview on China's television, Femi Adesina revealed that proper procedures for the release of the fund were being followed. He dismissed reports that the amount was too huge to be spent only on security matters, saying no individual or government could quantify the value of human lives. Adesina also said that the executive will communicate the details of the transaction to the National Assembly. He debunked reports on the timing of the initiative, claiming that no timing is too bad for security issues. After the break, Dino Melaye approaches Supreme Court over recall process. Thanks for staying tuned. Senator Dino Melaye has lodged an appeal at the Supreme Court against the March 16, 2018 judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja, which affirmed the power of the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct a referendum for the purpose of recalling a legislator. Melaye, in a notice of appeal dated April 3, 2018, filed by his lawyer, Michael Zuckerman, urged the Supreme Court to, among others, set aside the Court of Appeal judgment which upheld an earlier judgment by Justice Nnamdi Dingba of the Federal High Court, Abuja. INEC had in July last year, on receiving a petition from some registered voters from Senator Dino Melaye's constituency, wrote to notify him about the petition and further steps it intended to take. In sports, Nigeria's men's national basketball team, the Tigers, were beaten in their first game at the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games 110-65 by New Zealand in the men's preliminary round Group A on Friday. Azoma Dike led the way for the Tigers with 15 points, 6 rebounds and 1 assist, while Diogo hit 12 points and 14 rebounds. The quartet of Thomas Abekrumbi, Jordan Ngatai, Finn Delaney and Robert Lowe were New Zealand performers in the game. Nigeria will take on Canada, who also lost to Australia early on Friday, in their next game at the Cairns Convention Centre on Saturday. On the foreign scene, Saudi Arabian officials say the kingdom's first cinema in decades will open in the capital later this month. This was disclosed during the announcement of an agreement over the opening of dozens of theaters by 2023. Saudi Arabia's main sovereign wealth fund had signed a deal with AMC Entertainment Holdings to operate cinemas in the kingdom. The two sites are expected to establish up to 40 theaters in 15 Saudi cities over the next 5 years. Further ahead, between 50 and 100 cinemas will be set up in about 25 Saudi cities by 2030. To end the news, a recap of the major stories. Senate queries Buhari's social intervention scheme. Presidency condemned critics of arm purchase fund. Melaye approaches Supreme Court over recall process. And that's the news on Television Nigerian, and I'll leave you with this thought. What is worth doing is worth doing well. Thanks for listening. I am Anthony Momodu.